Greetings, ladies and gentlefish, and welcome to another World of Tanks replay. Now, I could come up with a nice, well thought out reason as to why the three games in this video are all intrinsically linked and it was all well thought out, but I'll be honest, the reality is I had a few decent tank destroyer games that either I played or that were sent to me, and I went, they're tank destroyers, let's shove them in a video and see what happens. And there's a bit of variety here. So, kicking off with a machine that it's been a long time since I showed, actually, and no one's ever sent me a replay in this thing. This is the Alecto Tier 4 British tank destroyer. I am platooned up with Loki. I know, that doesn't happen very often. She's in her M37 artillery piece, patch 9.17 game, so this is before those artillery changes. We've created a dynamic platoon with Dunkleos 77400 in his STRV M42, and this is a tier 5 match. So it's middle of the road matchmaking. It's not a tier 4 match, it's not a tier 6 match, it's middle of the road matchmaking, and we're going to see what we can do. Like I said, a tier 5 match. Not really anyone's been spotted yet. We've just got a Largo off in the far distance. Oh, hello Mr. Largo, how are you today? Pew! And I tracked him into the bargain. There's a Marder on the roof. Na 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 na. And another shot into the Largo, and the SAV finishes him off. Marder away in the distance. I'm firing high explosive here, by the way, which, well, if I'm not top tier, that's sort of my default ammo choice. In this tank, I'm using the 25-pounder gun. Unfortunately, that's not the biggest gun in the world, so it didn't do a vast amount of damage to that KV-1. But when Loki is in the mood to play World of Tanks, she does like her artillery. Make of that what you will. I'm not going to argue with her. But we do like the sort of RT-TD low-tier artillery and tank destroyer tag team. It can be quite amusing. And turret? Nah, botherations. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Come on, kill it. 89, and he's tracked. Always entertaining. And he's probably still tracked. And this is why I like this gun. You know, that tracking that he still has, and T1 Heavy finishes him off. Loki is trying to draw everyone's attention to the fact that there is a Matilda 4 of all tanks that has driven all the way across the map and is like within an... I was about to say something. Within an ant's genital of the capture circle. Goodness knows how he managed to make it all this way, but whatever. We just lost our STRV platoon mate. Oh no, random person that we never knew anyway. So I'm going to spot this guy and shoot this guy, and Loki's going to go nope. So that was a combined damage roll for... Ooh, no. So it looks like that damage roll was just mine, and then Loki managed to put one in, and I finish him off. Goodbye, Mr. Matilda 4. There's another Matilda 4 though. You don't see those things very often, but these guys are in a platoon, which is, well, yeah, it's about the only time you're going to see a pair of Matilda 4s on the same team. It's not a very good tank. Scoreline is 4-6, which is not massively encouraging, but what you gonna do? Marder 38T has been respotted. He was spotted right at the beginning of the game and then decided to cower, and oh, KV-1 alert. Unfortunately, I do not have a direct shot on this fellow, and there's an OI experimental approaching our base, and that Matilda 4. Ugh. And the Marder 38T just killed our BT7, the Panzer 3J just killed our Churchill 1, and someone has decided that what they really need to do is spam the goddamn map. Scoreline's 4-8, by the way. Hello, Mr. Matilda. Are you having a good day? 30 damage. Pfft, not exactly my finest hour. And they're in our base. And unfortunately, Loki just got OI experimentaled. It's a bit of a shame. She was trying to get out of the way. But at this point, it's 4-11 now, by the way. You know, you're limited on exactly how much you can do. With friends like these, who needs enemies, eh? OI experimental there, and a Panzer 3J. I mean, we're all hemmed into this little bottom left-hand corner. There isn't really too far that we can run to, unfortunately. And the Alecto is not the sort of machine that likes these close-range, claustrophobic engagements, but there we go. So, just coming around the corner, found a B1 next to Loki's corpse. Put a shot into the B1. B1 unfortunately puts 2 shots into me because he loads much faster. Took out my gunner, but I put the gunner back in because these med packs are made of magic. Penetrate the side of that Panzer 3J, which is kind of amusing. That one doesn't penetrate, which is kind of annoying. And there we go. But oh, good lord, there's an OI experimental. Derp him in the face. Oh, but he just has to nudge me to ram me to death. And there goes our M41 HMC. And unfortunately, that there is the game. Bit of a shame that we weren't able to win that one, but what can you do? Our team kind of did their best impression of a set of dominoes. So there we go. Let's have a look at the stats for this one. Here we go then. That was an ace tanker for me in the Alecto. Fire for effect bruiser and a high caliber medal. What you gonna do, eh? What you gonna do? 1,346 damage done, 1 kill, 531 base experience. In terms of damage, I only slightly outshone the Panzer 3J. Again, he was not top tier. This was apparently not the game for top tier tanks. Loki down there, you can see 306 damage, 132 base experience. She wasn't massively pleased with the result, but she still finished 4th on the team. And just don't cast your eye to the bottom of that team list. It's not worth it. When you're looking at KV1s who've done 0 damage in a tier 5 match, it's not worth it. Just don't look. Avert your eyes. 14 shots fired, 13 hits, 13 penetrations for 1,346 damage. 3 hits received, all of them penetrated. 2 enemy vehicles spotted, 8 damaged, 1 destroyed, and 375 assistance damage with a premium account that ended up being enough for a 25,500 credit profit. And despite the fact that we lost, throw courageous resistance in there, and that was 1,276 experience with a premium account. So, not a bad result for me in the end, even if our team were a bunch of, well, muppets who couldn't fight their way out of a wet paper bag. Anyway, let's move on to another game. Game number 2 then, and this time it's another one with me at the steering wheel, so don't expect too much. This time we are moving up a couple of tiers. Gone from the Alecto at tier 4 to the American M36 Jackson at tier 6. The tier 6 American quote-unquote non-turreted tank destroyer, despite the fact that it has a fully rotating turret. It's on the line of tank destroyers that that don't have a fully rotating turret, even if it happens to be a bit of an exception to the rule, along with the M10 Wolverine at tier 5. So, we are top tier in this tier 6 match, and I am platooned up with Careless One? Oh, good lord. Careless One in his Rudy. T-34-85 Rudy. So, yeah, we're going to see what we can do here. Now, the M36 Jackson is a tank that I do really like. Much better. I prefer it much better to the Hellcat. The thing with the Hellcat is its gun stats are terrible in terms of aiming time, and it's not very agile despite being relatively quick. And it is made of tissue paper, engines, and frontal fires. My lord, that thing gets on my nerves. But the Jackson, I just prefer. So we've got a Panzer T-25 who has bitten off rather more than he can chew, and found himself dead. Unfortunately, well, fortunately, there's an Excelsior on the enemy team who's met a similar fate. And I'm coming up here trying to give some of these tanks, the OI Experimental, the STRV, G1R, a little bit of a hand. Jackson packs a 90mm gun, which is a pretty good gun, but not quite up to the standards of most of the other tier 6 tank destroyer guns. You do pay for having that fully rotating turret, but it's better than any of the guns to be found on a tier 6 medium tank, for example. Interestingly, it's the same gun that you can get on the M6, so if you think you're going to want a bit more armour instead, same gun. Hello, Mr. IKV, there we go. High damage roll for 270 into his face. to 160 penetration with this gun, 240 alpha damage. If you want to fire APCR, that penetration jumps up to something stupid like 250. Because, yeah, why not? It's these American... Well, 90mm guns in general tend to have a very, very large penetration increase with premium ammo. Hello, Mr. Panzer. Goodbye, Mr. Panzer. You're kill number 1. Scoreline is 4-3. We just lost our OI experimental to artillery. This is another 9.17 replay, by the way. For a while, the replays I've got for you are going to be patch 9.17, so no revised artillery. And oh dear, suddenly I'm outnumbered 3-1. I loaded APCR on the basis that I wanted to shoot that Churchill in the face. So these APCR rounds were actually to take the Churchill out. As it was, none of them went into the Churchill because our artillery killed him, but I'd already loaded it, so those APCR rounds were completely wasted on an SU-100, but go figure. Wanted to put them into the Churchill because the Churchill has 152mm of frontal hull and turret armor, and I was outnumbered something like 3-1 and really didn't want to take the chances there with 160 penetration, 152 frontal armor, and that doesn't sound like it's a particularly great plan. Having said that, these artillery seem to be rather optimistic. Let's go with optimistic in their placement. Spotted out the FV304 and the SU-8. SU-8 is the easier target, and he becomes kill number 3. Does mean the FV304 unfortunately manages to get away from us, which is a bit of a shame, but I thought it was better to put the shots into the SU-8 and pretty much guarantee the kill on him than faff around trying to shoot an FV304 who might manage to dodge, and there's an SU-85. Hurrah! Take 250 health off him. He might put one shot into me, but he's only using one of the small guns, and he is dead. He didn't even put the shot in. There's kill number 4. Careless Ones also managed to pick up a pair of kills on the other flank. Scoreline is 10-8. There's a graveyard of tanks around here, but not only am I not among them, I haven't actually taken a single point of damage yet. We bounced one shot from probably that Panzer 38NA at a guess, but we seem to have emerged at the other end basically unscathed, which is nice. Being a little careful here, because I don't know where that IKV is, although there's a good chance he has scuttled off back to base. And there's him, the FV304, well, we spotted him and he was going back to base, a Matilda 4, there seem to be a few of these in these matches, a Grilla and an M41 HMC. Remembering, of course, this is a patch 9.17 match, so I can be one-shot by any of those artillery apart from the FV, and he'd two-shot me in pretty quick succession, so we do need to be rather careful here. Moving forwards, as our team is closing in on the enemy base, and I want to be part of that. I don't want to be sitting at the back doing nothing, but still being a little bit careful, because the Jackson does only have 590 hit points. It is a tank destroyer at the end of the day. Hit points are not your greatest strength in this thing. And there's the M41, but we don't have a shot on him. There's the Grilla, but we don't have a shot on him either. But knowing where those two are, I just think, screw it. Let's move forward. I'm pretty sure our heavy tanks and whatnot have probably gained the enemy's attention, and then I take a shot from an IKV, but very fortunately it bounces. I say very fortunately given how much health he has. This was careless. I really should have finished off that IKV. I did not need to take a shot from him. Instead I prioritised the shot into the FV, and I actually take another shot from the IKV there. I thought the IKV's reload was worse than it turns out that it is. Finish off the FV as well, however, and he becomes kill number 6. That just leaves this Matilda 4. Put a shot into the rear of him, not quite enough to kill him. Someone else picks up the kill, and there we go. There is the match. We are able to pull a win out of the bag in that one. So, for the last time this video, let's go and have a look and see how well we did. No, not the last time this video. I tell a lie. What am I talking about? I said there were 3 matches this video. For the second time this video, let's go and see how well we did. So hopefully now that I've finished tripping up over my own words, Ace Tanker Master Gunner, Fire for Effect, Bruiser, Top Gun, and High Caliber medals. A pretty nice slew of awards there. 2,154 damage done, 6 kills, 1,164 base experience. Shout out for the M44, who managed 2,655 damage, 5 kills, 829 base experience. Well done to him. And Careless got 461 damage, 2 kills, and 612 base XP. 13 shots fired, 13 hits, 13 penetrations for that damage count, most of which was actually from pretty close range. Received 4 hits, 2 penned, 2 did not. That was a little bit lucky. 1 hit received as a result of splash damage, 325 damage blocked by our armour, and that's the thing. The armour on the Jackson will bounce the odd shot here or there to save your bacon. 7 enemy vehicles damaged, 6 of them killed, 377 assistance damage, and we wasted a few credits with those APCR rounds that ended up not being necessary, but never mind. 7,776 credits made, with a standard account and a good amount of experience into the bargain for what was a little over a 6-minute match, which was quite a nice result. Now, contrary to what I tried to say earlier on, there is one more match to show you, and this is not with me behind the wheel. So, for the last game in this video, we are joining K Fuffle. Some of you may recognise that name. We've seen a couple of games from him before, usually with him driving Chinese tanks, but this time, change of pace, he is in the Challenger, everyone's favourite mission. What am I talking about? The what community hates this thing. Tier 7 British turreted tank destroyer. It is not a great machine. The main downfall of it, I mean, the mobility isn't bad. It does get a fully rotating turret, which is nice. The armour does suck, but it's a TD. Generally speaking, you don't buy them for the armour. You do get 10 degrees of gun depression, which is nice and gives a certain amount of flexibility, but this gun, this is... it's the 17-pounder. Fine, but you've been using the 17-pounder on the Firefly at tier 6, on the Tog 2 at tier 6, heck on the Archer at tier 5. This is the same gun. 150 alpha damage, 171 penetration with regular armor piercing. If you want to load APCR, that jumps up to like 230 something or 240 something or something like that. It is a nickel and dime gun, and unfortunately with the Challenger, it's a nickel and dime gun, but the DPM isn't actually all that good. And this is a problem with the other tier 7 British tank destroyer that gets this gun as well, the AT-15A. It's a nickel and dime gun that doesn't have fantastic DPM, and it's like, well, why am I bothering then? The E25 gets blistering DPM. The SU-122... Speaking of an E25, the SU-122-44 gets redonkulous DPM and 390 alpha damage. And it's not like the Challenger gets limited matchmaking or anything either, by the way. This sees regular matchmaking, so tier 9 matches are the order of the day. Having said that, if all the enemy are going to do is drive in front of your gun, I mean, sweet, we'll take it. Now... no, the Challenger is not a particularly good machine. Having said that, I've ground down this line to tier 10 on my second account. So I have played this entire friggin' line, and honestly, I found the Challenger more fun than the Charioteer at tier 8, and definitely more fun than the Conway at tier 9. That Conway, jeez, that's horrible. So whilst the Challenger is not a particularly good tank, I guess the best thing I can say about it is that I found it more fun than the tanks that came after it. Which is arguably a pretty sad indictment of the entire line, to be honest. Fiffle's going to go for some blind shots here. He's tracked this Churchill out into the open, and voila! There we go, there's a dead Churchill. He's up to 4 kills, by the way. Not sure how much damage, because replay bugs. But 4 kills is nice. Don't want to get shot by that KV-3. Let's be somewhere else. Doesn't get shot by that KV-3. No artillery in this match, of course. Artillery is the bane of tank destroyers. So we don't have to worry about those guys. And so far, Fuffle has taken a bit of damage, but a number of enemy tanks have just driven in front of his gun. And so he's gone, alright, pew 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 pew. Yeah. And they died. Oni is a bit of a problem. His frontal armor is suitably stupid because that's the direction Wargaming have decided to take super heavy armored tanks these days. I'm not going to get into a rant about that. Not now, anyway. So against the front of that Oni, honestly, Fuffle would need to fire APCR. Oh, but you could flank him. This is a corridor. There aren't exactly many flanking opportunities unless Fuffle takes the high ground, which would be an option, assuming he can make it past the T-43 and whatnot. I should also mention that throughout this match, Fuffle has been platooned up with someone in his clan who's been driving around in a KV-3 and has taken the high road. Hello, Mr. VK. Whoa, that's one hell of a replay bug. Right. This is an interesting position that Fuffle is using, but you couldn't do this in most tank destroyers because most tank destroyers don't have a fully rotating turret and 10 degrees gun depression. So there is that. Ooh, yeah, we don't want to get shot by that KV-3. There's another replay bug. Fuffle going for the upper plate of that KV-3, 170 penetration is enough to go through that if you know what you're doing. And some assistance damage onto the Oni, which is nice. The faster that guy is no longer a thing, the better. This is of course a tier 7 match, so that Oni is top tier. And the KV-3, the fact that they've decided to take the 1 and 2 lines with those tanks tells you everything you need to know about them as their caliber of player. Who cares about the 1 and 2 lines on this map? I mean, it's fine if you're in a tank where you can like take advantage of that and you shouldn't be pushing anyway, but an Oni and a KV-3, they really should be up on the top line where Fuffle's platoon mate went. They should be up there pushing. Oni is dead. That was Fuffle's 6th kill, by the by. Still got this KV-3. Somehow managed to hit that Panzer IV. The on-the-move accuracy on this tank sucks, but he managed to make that work and turn the Panzer IV into kill number 7. Sweet. He can take a hit from this KV-3 if absolutely necessary, and he takes a hit from the KV-3, almost takes a hit from a friendly Churchill as well. But there we go. Manages to kill the KV-3. That's kill number 8. And that just leaves a poor S-35CA who is probably wondering what he did to offend the what gods. Yeah, well, there we go. Misses that shot, and Crispins actually finishes that one off, and that was the game. It was less than 6 minutes, and Fuffle's gun barrel must be burning hot. I don't think he stopped firing that entire match. Really was a tank destroyer's wet dream. Right, let's go and have a look. This time, for the last time this video. I'm not lying on this occasion. Let's go and have a look at those post-game stats. Here we go then. That ended up being sufficient for... oh, this might take a bit. We have got Ace Tanker, Bruiser, Duelist, Fire for Effect, Top Gun for hitting 6 kills, yep. High Caliber, lots of damage. Brothers in Arms, everyone in the platoon, and he was in a 2-man platoon, gets at least 3 kills each, and everyone survives. And a Radley Walters medal for picking up his 8th kill. Apparently, this is Fuffle's first ever Radley Walters medal, so massive congratulations to him for that. And also, what the hell? Picking up your first ever Radley Walters in a Challenger. Fine, sure, why not, I guess. That's a bit ridiculous. 4,679 damage done. 8 kills, 1,670 base experience. Nicely done, given the gun only does 150 damage every shot. That is a lot of pew pew pew. Crispins in his KV-3 managed 3 kills, 1,889 damage and 881 base experience. And Stefan 545 in his T-43 should also have a bit of a shout out for 2,300 damage, 2 kills, 1,159 base experience. And the enemy team, yeah, he didn't do so hot. Let's be honest, not so hot at all. 42 shots fired, 37 hits, 33 penetrations for that damage count. Yeah, most of it was from relatively close range as well. 3 hits received. The armor did what the Challenger's armor always does, i.e. nothing. So that's 3 penetrations. 1 enemy vehicle spotted, 10 damaged, 8 destroyed, 731 assistance damage. And whilst, because the replay was bugged, I can't tell you exactly how much what ammo for full was firing. He clearly wasn't firing exclusively APCR, or his ammunition resupply cost would be more than 19,000. It is entirely possible he fired a few APCR rounds, probably because he ran out of every other type of ammunition. Because damn, that was a lot of damage. You don't usually have to do over 4,500 damage in your Challenger to get a win. But there we go. Really nice game there from Full. So there we go, just a video where we've got a bunch of tank destroyers, not really anything else linking them together. It was just tank destroyers, woo! There we go. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, by all means feel free to catch some of my other videos and or subscribe to my channel, and I wish you very happy hunting on that battlefield. Ciao ciao.